Hey, everybody, we're back. Look who's there. Look, look. Oh, man, look.
Look, up in the
It's
sky.
it's Anthony.
It's what's his name?
Dude.
Who has to remember not to lift up his left arm.
Oh,
Uh,
no, it's my right arm. My left is just fine. Hey,
no.
so
You have to remember that.
welcome
But here's what
to,
happens if I lift my left arm.
oh, yeah,
Boom.
don't do that. So welcome to Tech
Don't do that.
Shamans. Yes, we've been away for a really long time and we're back now. Thank God. Today's going to be an easier show. Last night I was going to text Anthony and go, we should come out with like just gobs of information. And I'm like, no, I think we just kind of take it easy on
I think we take a
everybody.
few and
And
we go deep. And we go deep
yeah,
if we
yeah,
need to.
because
Yep.
we've been away for a while. Crap happens. We
hmm
moved. You moved. Can't tell where he's in witness
hmm
protection, so I can't tell you where he lives. North Carolina. Anyway,
Oh, now I have to move again.
now you got to move
Son of a,
again.
because it's a
Well,
tiny state, you know.
oh my
I could be
God.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, at least it's not
my
South
hidden
Carolina,
bunker. At least,
because
yes, yes.
every
It's
every time
hard though
I,
because I'm in southern North Carolina,
oh,
so
you
it
might
is
as well be in
really
South
hard not
Carolina.
saying I'm in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about 20 minutes from the border.
So
So,
it's kind of funny, right? So every time we go north and we drive through South Carolina, all I can say, I keep driving and going, the little state that tries, the little state that tries. It's the most horrendous. But anyway, so but yeah, so we're
yes.
we're coming back. We're going to come back with a good show. We've been out for a while, which sucks. Everything went
Well,
sideways.
life happens.
It does, and unfortunately, I am a big jerk sometime and piss people off, and I shouldn't be that way. But in my
Yeah. Well,
in
fortunately, we have new help now in the studio, so
I know,
maybe we
right?
can keep this one.
I know. Well, I hope so. He's been here a week,
We're good. We're good.
right? Good.
Yeah, but now I'm here, so this could be
Oh,
the end of it. All right, let's roll.
I do love the artwork behind you.
Oh, why, thank you.
That is so
Hold on a minute,
cool.
I lost my there. Yeah, that is the blueprints to the Nautilus. I special ordered those. And then they got rain damaged, which really this side, which really sucked right along the bottom.
Well, it makes it
But
look aged.
since
That's
I
good.
pointed that out, now people can see it. Yeah, I know that's the whole thing. Water damage on a submarine really seems like it's like on theme. So I'm okay with that. Well, it sunk, remember?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
well,
No, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So the tube got a little wet. All right,
Yeah,
we're
a
done.
little bit, a
Uh,
little bit, a little bit, just a little bit. So, um, boy, I mean, since the last time we did this show, um, I mean, things have just completely changed.
yeah,
And
this is really. I mean, you and I were actually talking about whether the show even needs a new name, because the world of technology is so radically different, and
yep,
it's been probably 2 years since I've done a show.
yeah,
And I know you ran a long time after that. It's only been, weeks since you ran your last one. But
yep,
it is really cool to be back. I really want to thank you for the invite.
yeah, man.
And I hope to, stimulate conversation and get people really looking at tech in a different way from what they may be hearing in, the common channels,
Yeah,
because there are a lot of perspectives out there,
right.
but it's our job is to kind of sift through them and bring people what we think, anyway, are the most reasonable, rational, defensible,
Yep.
or just completely radically crazy
Well,
positions.
and
Uh,
that's why, we were texting back and forth to figure out what we're going to talk about. And I think
yeah.
the dominating piece of this show today is going to be about AI. And there's so many different, I, I tell you, you say the word AI, and either people go, "Oh, I
Yep.
love it. It's going to help things, and it's going to make things better." And this is online too. I mean, I've been watching this whole string
Especially
of,
online. Yeah.
yeah, and I've been watching Facebook and TikTok,
hmm
and man, I mean, there's no in between. It's you either love it or you hate it.
Or it's Satan. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's everybody's
Yep.
like, oh, it's going to
It's
replace every.
either it's either a tool or it's Satan.
Right.
Those are the two options we're being given.
Yeah, there's no in
And
between.
fact is, I mean, well, we can get into that as we go along.
Oh, we
I
are.
think you've got queued up here a phenomenal interview with somebody who kind of knows a little bit about the subject.
Right.
And so starting at this level, I think is a really important place for us to begin.
Yeah.
And so if you don't mind, John, I'll let you
Yeah.
figure
All
out
right. Well,
how
look,
to
the tech back there.
introduce this.
He'll roll that beautiful bean footage.
Geoffrey Hinton.
Geoffrey Hinton,
Seen as the godfather of artificial intelligence, has quit his job at Google, warning of the dangers of AI.
Does humanity know what it's doing?
No. I think we're moving into a period when, for the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us.
You believe they can understand?
Yes.
You believe they are intelligent?
Yes.
You believe these systems have experiences of their own and can make decisions based on those experiences?
In the same sense as people do, yes.
Are they conscious?
I think they probably don't have much self-awareness at present. So in that sense, I don't think they're conscious.
Will they have self-awareness,
Oh, yes.
consciousness?
I think they will in time.
And so human beings will be the second most intelligent beings on the planet.
Yeah. We have a very good idea of sort of roughly what it's doing. But as soon as it gets really complicated, we don't actually know what's going on any more than we know what's going on in your brain.
What do you mean we don't know exactly how it works? It was designed by people.
No, it wasn't. What we did was we designed the learning algorithm. But when this learning algorithm then interacts with data, it produces complicated neural networks that are good at doing things, but we don't really understand exactly how they do those things.
Crazy. I love it.
And it's the first of all, I mean, I could discuss every single point he brought up. The first thing I want to explain here, and it may be way underneath a lot of people's, level of understanding, but that idea at the end of why we don't understand it. Imagine, well, you've all seen those games where you drop the quarter in the slot and it bounces down all the little pegs all the way down, and then you see where it lands at the bottom. It could be completely anywhere, basically.
Yep.
That's kind of what we've built, that pegboard game, and we're just dumping quarters into it. And where they're landing, I mean, you got to figure this game now has, 50 billion pegs. So where the hell is that quarter going? And that's how it's just so diverse. The idea of AI as individual, I think, is also crucial because when I talk to my Chat GPT account, it's learning everything about me. It's only learning about me.
Right.
So when I'm in a discussion on a certain topic, I click on that topic, I come back in, and we continue our discussion on that topic. And it is absolutely unique as an individual. Its learned experience from having interacted with me is different from any other learned experience it may have, including even with itself in the same account. If I choose a different sub account for it, it'll come on fresh and go, "Hi, I'm here to learn something new." And so that idea of individualism is baked into the AI code.
Right.
And that's what's fascinating. It's not one giant AI.
No. So me and my tech were having a conversation earlier, and we were talking about this video and how
Mhm.
we didn't give it the information. People wrote the algorithms, right? Especially the open source
Right.
algorithm. And so this is John Gaston. This is me saying this is what I believe.
Mhm.
I believe we have been feeding the beast informations since Netscape. So every time that we go into
Mm.
whether it be Netscape, Yahoo, AOL, I can't think of another one that was back in the day.
Yeah. Whatever.
Right? So
Yeah.
every time we went to query,
Mhm.
what is a dog? What is this? Where can I find this? all that
And
information has been stored in. Now, a buddy of mine, his name is Frank. I'm going to have him on the show one day. He's Silicon Valley
okay.
guy. He's 63 years old. And he has
Youngster.
been nothing but, he's been working AI from the get-go, but he said he was working
Mhm.
AI back in the 80s, right? So
Sure.
every time that we fed Netscape, Chrome, Internet Explorer,
Well,
anything, there is
so you're talking any of the browsers
any browsers,
experience is
right?
what you're getting at.
And
Okay. Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
those data now, and I didn't know this. This is something I learned just last week. There are 9 major data holding facilities in the US, just the US alone, that has
Mhm.
saved every query since the day one of the internet. 9,
Wow.
and they're massive,
Okay.
right? So,
But they'd have to be.
so he said that when we wrote our software for their version of AI, right?
Hmm.
He said that they used those 9 data centers to pull information from, and
Right.
to help it learn. Now,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 That's to
right,
drop the quarters in.
right.
Yeah.
So and then so I said, so technically, we are the one making it smarter. So the whole about a year ago, they're like, oh, it's no smarter than a third grader. He says that's absolutely incorrect. He goes, these AIs today are doctoral, if not better, thinking capability. But
See, and this is what I find. Go ahead.
they say they tell the public, oh no, it's only it's only a third grader level. And they're doing that
Of
because they
course.
don't want to freak everybody the hell out, which totally get.
Right.
I mean, people are already freaked out about, oh, they're going to take artist jobs, they're going to take these jobs, and blah 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 and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I keep saying they won't take their jobs if they'll just make themselves better or as good as AI. You don't want to lose your
The
job,
problem. Yeah.
you get smarter.
Well, I have a whole commentary on that when we get to the Jazza video later on.
Okay.
Um, but no, I think the issue I take with this, and this may be a theme through all of this, is that how is he defining intelligence? What does that mean?
Right,
Okay, because he's saying, oh, they're more intelligent. Well, what do you mean by intelligent?
right.
It certainly is not emotional intelligence by
Nope.
any stretch of the imagination. Okay, it is not a holistic um, reality 3D world based intelligence because I have gotten meta AI into a discussion that I was able to get it to admit that it was entirely wrong, that its first answer was riddled with non factual information. And therefore, although it had all of this information, it had not synthesized it properly.
Right,
And that synthesis is wisdom. The human brain has 2 peaks during your life. The first peak is around 28 to 30,
right,
27 to 30, when your brain it has its maximum ability to recall data.
right,
That is when you can spit off facts and figures and quotes, and that is your peak for spitting off for being able to reiterate data. Okay, that is the AI peak. When you hit about 55 to 60, however, that is when your brain hits its synthesizing peak. When all the patterns become obvious and they start to make sense. And using them, you're able to predict, you're able to comprehend motivation and anticipate things. And that's the wisdom stage.
Right.
AI is nowhere near that capacity.
And that's why
That synthesis is
right.
what's different.
And that's why they say that it's, that's why kind of where they're going with it. Well, it's on the level of a third grader.
Yep.
Emotionally, maybe, but not
Mm.
not knowledge.
Emotionally, maybe. No, knowledge-wise, it's a 28-year-old.
Yeah.
No doubt
So
about it. Because, I mean, but here's the thing. It also is a 28-year-old with severe delusions.
mm,
Because I asked AI to write a review of my Egyptology work and its impact that it has had on the world. And I was incredibly flattered. I'm
wow.
like, holy crap, all of that, wow. And then I said, okay, now rewrite that, but provide citations. Every single citation for quotes of mine,
hmm
my own work, okay, quotes of others about my work, everything was fabricated.
Mm,
100% false information.
wow.
The journals it cited didn't even exist.
But it sure didn't make it sound like it.
Wow, did it sound good? I was so impressed. I was ready to go die because I'd already, completed my legacy. This is
I'm
amazing. Uh,
awesome.
like I can die now. I'm somebody. I start
Oh,
running around with a phone book.
yeah,
Um,
right.
Steve Martin fans will get that one.
Yep, they'll get
But
it.
yeah, it knew that it wanted to write an article about someone's impact.
Right,
So it mimicked articles about impact
right.
instead of actually doing the factual research. Extraordinary difference. I hung on to that because AI is incredibly fallible at this point. So in some ways, it has the memory capacity of a 28-year-old, but it also just makes crap up like a 4-year-old who's like, I didn't take any cookies.
Right.
It's like, really? You missed one crumb right there, kid.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like. It's like a 4-year-old making stuff up. And so this is a fascinating piece we have here, which kind of leads us into some of the next pieces we want to discuss.
Yeah, we got
Once
another.
we realize that, yeah, we got 3, 4, 5 things left to
Yeah.
do. But once we understand that AI is in a place where it will launch nukes against New York, except they're not real nukes.
Right,
And it's actually launching, paper airplanes with pictures, very badly drawn pictures of nuclear bombs.
right.
And that's as far as we've got. So that's
Which
kind
ain't
of where
bad.
we are now, based on what I can see.
I
Yeah,
I would
it kind
like
of
to
like
be.
let's just
I'm
take the
okay with
fear
that
down
being
a
right
notch
there.
it can.
Right. I'm okay
Right.
with that.
But what it can do are other things that are entirely amazing. So,
Yeah. Well, I
go ahead.
mean, so
I got to pull this back up
that's the
again.
thing. I follow a guy named Les Straussman, and
Hmm.
he put a post up the other day going just to hate AI and all the imagery. Well, the thing of it is, a lot of the imagery, I would say 99% of the images that are AI, you can tell they're AI. And but that's coming from someone that does this, you know, the imagery for a
For a
living,
living.
did it right. I can look at something and go,
Hmm.
man, it's good, but it's fake,
Those
you
lips
know.
aren't moving right.
Right.
That
Abs,
skyline isn't right. The
it's like
light source isn't right.
they have a
How come he
guy,
has 7 fingers?
right. Well, you get like there's one where the guy's walking and he's got big abs and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and you can tell muscles are moving that shouldn't be moving. And you're like, yeah, it's fake.
Yeah.
But you can look at
That's fake.
I look at skin tones, I look at other
Yep.
things, the 7
Sure.
fingers and all that kind of stuff. That's an easy giveaway.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're right. But I just I think in a way, some of the stuff that they generate, like the Tech Inside Now, showed me because I really haven't been playing with it because I've got too much crap going on and I've not been messing with it like I normally. Now I do use Open Chat to
Right.
do summaries of like, well, like this show today, right, has been
Mm-hmm.
put into Premiere, and Premiere rips me a transcript, and then I take that transcript, I go to Chat GPT and say, I need a
Write
two
me a 500
paragraph
word summary. Go.
summary
Yep.
so I could put this on social media, and it does a great job, right? So it really does a
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
But
And that's where some of the things go. But let's
you want to play that another
I like
video?
the idea. We can, but what I really wanted to hit on
Yeah,
was
I'd rather talk, so it's good.
we've got one on here that's kind of off the AI thing for a minute, but there is the question: how come AI can't solve a CAPTCHA, a reCAPTCHA? You know, are you human?
You know what?
You
I
would
wasn't
think
able
that
to
of
get
all the
that.
damn things, no, you don't need to. But the answer is because have you ever noticed you go in there sometimes and you check the box that are you human? You check the box, it doesn't ask you any questions.
Yeah,
It just goes, yeah, you are. Let's go.
right.
It's because the reCAPTCHA test starts long before you click on the box.
Oh,
It starts before you get to the window.
oh, I didn't
It's
know that.
tracking your mouse movements. And your
Really?
mouse movements give you away how long it takes you to respond to the words on the screen, to find the box that you have to click, to miss it once, whatever the hell it is.
Right.
Okay. All of that is telling reCAPTCHA whether you are a human or not.
Gotcha. Or spin the circle, which I can never line up for some
Um,
reason. Crazy.
Whatever it is, okay. Or here's the best one: while you are clicking the boxes, show the traffic lights.
Yeah.
Okay, it it's tracking where your mouse is moving while you're doing it.
Right.
And that's what it's really tracking. It doesn't care about the traffic lights. Those aren't the right answer. The right answer is how you move your mouse before you get to it.
Wow. Okay.
And
See, I didn't
AI
know that.
can't fool that algorithm
Right.
because AI is iterative.
Right.
The human mind is infinite.
Right.
That's that knowledge versus wisdom thing
Right.
again. Okay, we have
Yeah.
iterative versus infinite, and so there are ways that we behave that it just can't. And
Gotcha.
I love that. And at some point, will it be able to mimic it? Sure, but just like you can spot or maybe I should like point that way. Uh, like you can spot the the problems in the artwork.
Right.
Okay. reCAPTCHA is staying ahead of the curve and
And
able to spot the seven fingers when it's
right.
trying to click on I am human.
Right. Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's
So, yeah.
so we have another show called Parageeks that we're bringing back. And in that show, what we do is we scour the internet now and we
Hmm.
look for people that have put up pictures, video, audio on the whole nine yards.
Yep.
And in the last 2 weeks, I probably have gone through about 40, maybe 50 hours of footage and audio and
Oh
imagery.
my God.
And I keep going, nope, fake, nope, fake, nope, fake, nope, it was
Yep.
generated, nope, this fake. This audio's a mix between a wolf
Oh yeah.
and a bear. And it's because it's just what we do, right? There's been some that I'm like, oh, I mean, I download them, go, oh my God, this is a really good one. Then I'll put it through my software and I'm like, damn, that's good. And you can see where it's been AI generated.
Hmm.
It's pixelization places and audio and a mixture of this and that
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. Um,
Lighting is off here and et
yeah,
cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
it doesn't,
Shadows are moving wrong for the
right.
light source.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, but you know what's funny is the best way to decipher that is to use AI.
Right.
And ask AI to analyze it, whether it's AI generated or not.
And show me proof.
And AI, yeah, and show you proof. But then AI, and then it'll come up with all these magazine citations.
Mhm.
But AI can look at details that would take humans 1,000 years to put
Yep.
together.
Yep.
And and that's in fact that's what Doge is doing right now. They're using AI.
Yep.
Okay, these aren't algorithms they're running. They're running AI, and they're saying,
Except
"Hey,
for the
go
government
assemble."
retirement place down in the mountain that's still
Yeah,
pen and
in
paper.
Stone Mountain. Yeah, that's nuts. They got to scan all that so they can figure out what's going on.
Right.
But what a great place to hide your fraud.
Right?
But
9,000 feet
in
underground.
that case, I, that just
Sorry.
scares me that all that crap's on paper, manila folders. Uh,
Oh, punch card.
your tax dollars at work.
Yeah, man.
It's not that up to date. They got to go in and read it one page at a time.
Yep.
But these are what the hell were we talking about?
How AI can go and analyze it and
yeah, but that's the key because there are good uses for AI.
oh yeah, absolutely.
And there are things it's absolutely brilliant at. I know one company that is using it. They will write a human will sit down and write an article,
Right.
okay, for their blog. Then they will give it to AI and say, suggest, clean up, edit, show me. And then AI comes back with a finished product. And then they get to make any final changes and then off it goes. Of course they get to do that. And what it does is it takes the job of an editor. No, it doesn't. What it means is that this company is able to do more with the tools they have. And their company, that employee, becomes more productive.
Yep.
So instead of thinking that we need $14 trillion worth of production a year, but what if we had the same number of people and we did $28 trillion worth of production a year?
Exactly.
What would that do? Okay. So what I wanted to do was there's this creator on YouTube. He's absolutely phenomenal. I actually I'm one of his patrons on Patreon, and he's just outstanding in how he explains things. And so what I want to do is I want to show like 15, 20 seconds of a video he did on AI because he does use it.
Yep.
But this is how this guy attacked the issue, and this is so much about what you were saying when you were talking about how you have these polarized responses. But watch how he handled
let's play that real quick.
the debate.
But AI will lead to AGI and ASI, which will bring us new sustainable energy solutions, cure diseases at an unprecedented level, and help solve the climate crisis once and for all. Yes, in the near term, AI is going to replace jobs and take some opportunities away. In the same way that cars and trains were a threat to the horse and carriage industry, and the camera is a threat to painters. But new jobs and avenues for creative expression and leisure will become available. If you think AI art is bad, AI video generation is going to be even worse. Video evidence will no longer be admissible in court because anything can be fabricated. People can make pornography of others without their consent. And of course, dead celebrities will continue to be profitable for media conglomerates who can continue to use their image and voices long after they're gone. On top of that, AI developers have no clue how to properly safeguard AI against misuse and barely have an idea even how it works, let alone how to control it. AI is just a path for corporations to get more investments and boost their stock value with shallow marketing gimmicks. Meanwhile, we can all see the purposeless dystopia that this is leading us to. It's the next step of progress for humanity. AI is already empowering small businesses and individual creatives to compete at a scale and in a way they never had the opportunities to before. AI is the most groundbreaking technological revolution ever since electricity or the steam engine. And the potential for AI to empower humanity and help solve our most challenging problems is unfathomable. If anything, AI will lead to more people in the long term being able to indulge in creativity because it'll lead to a post-scarcity society. A society where you don't need to figure out how to pay your bills with art, you can just make art. And people who haven't been able to be a part of that in the past will have more opportunities in the future than they have ever had before. I get it. You're sick to death of.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
He is so good, and he's smart as a whip too.
It's all AI
He's also a
generated.
brilliant artist. Yes. There is no Jazza. No, the thing is, so I was watching that and I'm like, wow, this is such a great balanced approach. Because he then goes in, he goes, okay, so what we were able to do was, sure, we do a weekly, Dungeons and Dragons game that we do, but our backdrops used to be really boring. And now this little kind of like side thing on our channel that we do, now it has these really incredible backdrops, 3D, and as we move, there's like leaves falling and et cetera, because we can do that with AI.
Yep.
And it makes it beautiful, and it makes it a better world, and it makes it a deeper experience for people. The downsides, energy consumption. Good Lord. AI is eating massive amounts of electricity. It takes so much to keep those servers running and cold. People don't think about the cold part anywhere near as much as just, plugging in your
Hey,
computer.
Greenland.
But imagine, yeah,
Greenland.
good point. One of the interesting things about that was Trump was able to get that. Yeah, I thought that was great. They're going to invest a $500 million into, or $500 billion into AI and next gen digital tech. And whereas with other people that has to be done with government dollars, he did it all with private investment. And all he
Right.
had to do was say, "Oh, you can build your own power plant right next door.
Amazing.
You don't have to worry about anybody's infrastructure."
Mhm.
That's the key component to AI.
Yep.
It's not metals and hardware, it's electricity. And it must have a reliable supply or forget it. So putting the power plants right next door was crucial. And if they're nuclear, it's even better. I mean, it's the cleanest energy in the world. It is super safe now. And they can just run forever
Yeah.
on, 30 pounds of uranium. Have a good day.
30 pounds of uranium. Only 30 pounds
Yeah,
of uranium. That's
that's
all you
it.
need.
Yeah, it'll run like 2 decades.
Yeah.
It's nuts. So this is there are gives and takes, but when I was looking at it, the point that struck me was that there was a video I wasn't able to find again, and someone in there inspired a thought, and then I turned that into my own quote, which was, thanks to AI, humans will no longer have to do the work of machines.
Yeah.
Instead, they can work on becoming better humans.
That's awesome. That's actually really good. I mean, really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
you got to take it in two parts too.
yeah.
Because the first one is like, ever since Henry Ford, we have done nothing but try to replicate a machine with our bodies.
Exactly.
And that's what our schools are designed to produce. Machine parts.
Yep.
Disposable, replaceable, exchangeable machine parts.
Mm.
Everybody hates that. And
Yeah.
you know who hates it? The people who are loudest about AI taking jobs.
And here's the thing: they're gonna need people to work in them servers, facilities, power plants.
No, they won't. They'll have robots.
Oh, that's true.
Robots.
Long live the Robot King.
Long live the Robot King.
All right, we're gonna come off of AI now because we've literally done almost 2/3 of the show. But it's
I
a good
thought it was
thing,
going to be the
folks.
whole show, so I'm a little disappointed.
I know. Right? We may circle back. You never know, because the next thing I'm going to talk to about is Apple is linking up with Starlink. Right. So this has been a tumultuous. Yeah. Online battle that people are like, no, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Yes, they are. But they really are. They're actually working right now with T-Mobile, right?
Mm.
So, they made it look like, oh, everybody's going to get this. Well, they're not. They are working with T-Mobile though, and I'll tell you what, because T-Mobile seems to be in my personal opinion, I don't know the data on it, but it looks to me like they're outpacing AT&T, and they're outpacing Verizon and outpacing everybody else, right?
Do you know why that's happening?
No, tell me why it's happening.
Why? It's happening because we did not get the net neutrality rule.
Ah,
See, the net neutrality rule had it set so that in order to be a telecom company, you had to achieve a certain level or you weren't allowed into the market.
ah,
And so there was no need to compete. It was a race to the bottom. As soon as all that went away, they now had to compete again for business. And that is why we're seeing this kind of a leapfrog of this
gotcha.
company trying to work together with Starlink and Apple to create the first phone. And for Apple, this is just a no-brainer.
Yeah,
People are tired of wondering whether they have signal or not, especially
right.
if they're lost in the woods.
And that, so where we live now up here in northwest Georgia, there's tons
Yep.
of trails, right? So what did I do? I went out, and because I like to go hiking, I went out and bought myself a GPS. But
Mm-hmm.
but because I'm an iPhone user, that's going to drive it. And if this thing works with T-Mobile and it works well, I'll go to T-Mobile. I've been AT&T for almost 28 years, 29
So have
years.
I. Yep.
So,
Yep.
but if this does work, I'll jump over to T-Mobile in a heartbeat. They take care of my business side. So
You're right.
we have phones, we have internet. I have three of the at home internets. One travels, one stays at the house. Because where I live in, I don't know about you in North
Right.
Carolina, but where I'm at in Northwest Georgia, I'm in the foothills of the Appalachians. I'm not in the.
That's
I
where
mean,
we are. Mm-hmm.
technically, I am in the Appalachians, but I'm in the more of the foothills. I'm
Of
not in
course.
the super high
Yeah.
elevations.
No. We specifically chose the foothill
Yep.
because we can drive to the mountain. We can see them out the back window.
Yep.
But you can also get 1 gigabyte download speed on your internet.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, the studio
Yeah.
itself is in Ringgold, and we're right next to Chattanooga, which is now it's a 10 gig city, but getting ready to go to 20
Mm-hmm.
gig because it is a massive tech hub here.
Yeah.
And in the studio that
Mm-hmm.
I'm in now, I've got 2 up, 2 down gigs.
Yeah. This
So,
is my personal account.
right.
This is just my house.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi will run 600 or 700 megabits
Right.
on
So,
Wi-Fi in the house, which
and
is nuts.
so with T-Mobile at the house,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am like, well, because we live on the rural part of 27, US Highway 27. There's a name for it, but and we live on the side of the foothill of a small mountain, right? So we don't have any fiber or anything like that. So I've been using T-Mobile, and I average anywhere from 400 to 600 up and down, which
Wow.
is amazing. Now,
My up is only in the 50 to 60 range.
Now, I am fortunate that it's kind of funny. Quick story, bunny trail. Looking at the house, whole 9 yards. Before I ever buy any house, I have to call to find out what internet and blah blah blah.
Exactly.
And this
Yep. So did I.
the company that runs our area where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
They were excited to tell me that they had high speed DSL, and I'm like, what? You're proud of that? Oh yeah, we can get you high speed DSL. So well, what's the up and down? They're like 5 and 5. I'm like, oh, 5 gigs? That's awesome. Oh no. 5 megs. I'm like, no, I'm
5
good.
meg.
So
Wow.
I called my buddy at T-Mobile,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey, I need you to check an address to find out what I can get for in-home internet. He said, okay, give me the address. And I did. He goes, oh, dude, you're good. You're really good. Actually, I can get you 500 over 500. I'm like, okay, well, why?
Yeah.
How can you do that? He goes, look out he goes, he had a map of the house. He goes, go on that front deck. I looked at the
Right.
front deck. He goes, take a look to your left. Took a look to the left. Not more than a quarter of a mile is a tower.
You can see the tower.
Dude,
Yeah.
he goes, you're going to scream. And everybody around me is like, how are you getting good internet? Because they've all got this company called Windstream. And man, that's
Yeah.
that happy high speed DSL. I'm like, I'm at T-Mobile. They've all switched over to T-Mobile now. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, I
Now
digress.
ours is Vive. Yeah. And I mean, I can pull down a gig and that runs everything in the house just fine,
Yep.
unless like in the storm,
Mm.
which 200 towers were not taken down. They were taken offline because one trunk line was cut.
Oh no. Oh,
The entire area for hours around was offline.
holy crap.
We had no communication with the outside world except the radio.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, that was all we had. And who has a radio these days?
I have 3
No. You're
Baofangs.
in the car. Yeah, you're in the car.
If
Okay,
I
listening to your radio.
if I could if I
Yeah,
could,
it's crazy.
I'm learning. So I first of all, I didn't realize to have these you had to have a license. So I'm in the process of getting my license, right? Because I want to
Yeah,
use the repeaters, which allow me to talk all the way across the country.
right.
On these little radios are not even that big. They're really kind of cool. So
Crazy.
the reason I've done this in order
Yeah,
because and so good for Apple, good for T-Mobile,
yeah.
and good for Starlink. So
Hmm.
it's going to be a really good thing because now they're saying that 6G is on its way, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the nightmare of having 5G starting happening is crazy. And what people don't understand is the distance that it takes for these transmitters to push 4G, 5G, 6G.
4G is infinitely better than 5G,
Oh,
but what's going to happen
absolutely.
with 6G?
Well, let's play a video and then we'll come back and talk about that.
6 gigahertz has
All right,
shorter
rock and roll.
range. Yes.
And you know why it has shorter range? This is crazy. Most engineers don't know that. Most people just think the higher the frequency, the worse it is at going far. The worse it is at going through walls. The actual reason is that when they talk about how 6 gigahertz goes shorter than 5 gigahertz, they mean with a quarter wave antenna. A standard antenna, that's a quarter wave size. Well, the higher the hertz, the shorter a quarter wave antenna is. And actually, the skinnier it is. It's just proportionately, if the wave is half the frequency, the antenna is half the size and half the width. You just shrink the whole antenna in half the size. So now it has a quarter of the area to catch the radio waves coming from the other guy. It's just a geometry problem that your antenna has smaller surface area that makes the higher frequencies not go as far.
So why don't they just make them bigger?
Well, they do. This is why the routers are spouting more and more antennas, so that all these antennas, if any of them catch a bit of the signal, they add them up and shove it into the radio. So the higher the frequency it is, the more antennas they're sticking on. Right now you're seeing routers with 8, 12
the
antennas.
Wi-Fi 7 routers that have antennas on all sides.
Yeah, they're starting to look like spiders and stuff. It's adding more antennas to get more area to catch these radio waves and get them into the radio.
Yeah, I always just assumed that the signal would die off faster because it's a higher frequency.
No. So an interesting thing is Einstein's theory of relativity. There is no time for a radio wave. The closer you get the speed of light, the slower time goes for you. A radio wave is at the speed of light. It doesn't experience time. Can't die off as it goes further because it doesn't know when further. Just geometry.
That's pretty cool.
I can follow for more connectivity knowledge.
All right, come on back. Okay, so I love that because
Hmm.
and we were sitting in a radio station years ago when we were a different company and we were streaming. We had like 7, 8 shows at this radio station. And we're all sitting around talking and the head engineer of the station was trying to explain radio waves and measurements of radio waves and how it works to a group of people. And he looked at me and said, "John, come here." I'm like, "Okay." So I went over to him. He goes, "Tell the people what's easier to push, high FM or low FM." And someone spouted out before I could say a word, "Oh, it's low FM." And I went, "No, it's high FM." So like, you get these stations that are in 970 or
Right.
800 FM versus the ones that are up in 1600, or 101.4
Mm-hmm.
or 102.5. So,
Right.
because it's easier, and this goes to a sound thing, and I think that's why he asked me come over. I said,
Right.
if you have a home stereo system and you're trying to make the whole house sound absolutely fine, you got this really thumping low end bass, but you got these high end tweeters. That's why it takes so much more amperage. Like when you drive a sub, you got to have some big monster amps, right? But when you want to drive
Okay.
tweeters, you don't have to have hardly anything. That's why headphones can drive can drive mids and highs so much better than it can drive the low tones, right? So the same thing works with frequency. So like 4G, 5G, 6G, you get into 6, 7, and 800G, that should be easier to push. But it's like the guy said, it's almost like they're creating their own handicap system by making the antennas shorter. We shouldn't have a problem with 5G if they would do the antennas right. It's less power to push that will go farther. And he's right, relativity, time, sound doesn't, or especially frequency
Well,
waves, do not
it's not that
fight the time.
the signal doesn't get weaker.
No.
It's that it becomes more dispersed over area. So there's the same number of waves at the same strength. There's 10 of them right here when you're right here in the ball at the beginning. Okay. But then as that ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the same 10 are now covering 1,000 square miles.
Yep. And
That's
all
the
they have to
difference.
do,
It's geography and geometry. It is not strength of the
oh no,
signal. That
no.
never changes.
It,
It's like light.
back in the
Yeah.
old days, if you went sight line, right, site to site.
Yeah.
So it's
AM.
like this is okay. So this right here is how Dish and DirecTV work, right?
Yes.
You don't
Yep.
have
You got to have sight
a
line.
big aerial antenna out there with a dish on it going, I'll just catch everything that gets thrown my way. That's not the way it works. You have to
No.
point that dish towards another
Direct.
bigger dish. So it's sight line.
Directly at the satellite.
Right.
Boom.
And it is, and
Okay,
that is
that's
a very,
what you get.
that is a very collapsed signal flow. It's not a big
Yep.
widespread, it's narrow, right? So
Right.
if they
Yep.
can do that,
It's trying to beam it as tight as it can.
right.
Yep.
So, and that's how come Starlink works. The
Right.
Starlinks are it's not a
Mhm.
wide, it's a tight, but you're grabbing
Which
singularities.
is why they
as,
need thousands of them
yes.
to cover everywhere.
And a lot of, I was told by my TD that a lot of people don't like Starlink because it's messing up the sight view of people of
Oh, yeah.
of your, not
yeah.
only your big astronomers, but your average at home.
Even your
I want to go
casual.
look at everything.
I've got my telescope sitting here, and the number of satellites we see going overhead at night is just insane.
Well, and it's not just
Yeah.
Starlink. There is so
No,
much
of course not. It's
space
all
junk.
of them. There's so much junk up there. Starlink is just adding a whole nother layer, but it's the first time there's ever been a planned layer.
Yeah,
Duh.
exactly. Well,
Okay.
there was a
And
company.
the point is, yeah.
There was a company called Red Dot back in
Uh-huh.
2008, 2009 that came to us as a production company and said, "Hey, we need animation done. We have this idea." And it was Starlink.
Yep.
We had this
Yep.
idea that if we put these big, massive receiver pods all over the world,
Yep.
Amazon, whatever, it's all going to be powered by solar, and all we're going to do is we're going to put up like they were just doing like 5 or 6 satellites, and it's going to encircle,
Right.
that's going to go, and then these transceivers will never be out of range for more than 10 minutes, right? 10
Right.
minutes. That's, and how they did the orbit, I don't know, but we started working on,
Yeah.
some animation
Instead, we
stuff
have,
on-
1,600. Yeah.
yeah, but it's just, I mean, it was an amazing, I'm like, what a great idea. And then it got into the physics of, and it's kind of funny. Sometimes, people think because you're a video guy, you're not smart. I don't know why, but it's like, who dumb point camera, edit. But when they started getting to the engineering side of it, my brain went into the electrical engineering side. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you're going to do this, you got to have this. It's got to be the angle of this. And it's got to be, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, you're an engineer. I said, yeah, I'm an engineer. But, I'm just seeing the bigger picture. And then sure enough, 10 years later, Elon's like, we're going to put satellites in there so everybody can have internet. I mean, what a great thing. I mean, to me, that is absolutely phenomenal.
It really is. And I mean, it's been incredible up here. You can't imagine how many people have been ordering Starlink systems.
Right.
Okay. After having our trunk line taken out.
Yep.
Okay. We lost all of our phones.
And then you had Helene come up.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
it was
okay.
Milton and Helene back to back in like a couple days. We got waylaid. And the funny thing was, where I am, I'm wicked blessed because otherwise I would have a Starlink system by now. But I found out that my system I'm on the same line as town hall, police station, fire station, and the 2 traffic lights in town.
Right.
So my electricity was back on in a couple days, so the traffic lights would be on. The internet was back on. Everything was back on so that the fire department would be functioning. I'm like, okay, as long as I'm here, all right, I don't need Starlink.
Right.
But for the neighbors, the people up in Swannanoa and Boone and all those areas that still to this day have people living in tents. They're out there in this 20-degree weather living in tents right now. Thousands of people. Go drive up there. It's heartbreaking to see rows and rows of campers and tents out in fields. They're like concentration camps.
Right.
It is unbelievable that it's still there. And 2,000 people got kicked out of their hotels about 2-3 weeks ago.
Hopefully that's all going to start
about 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed on that one.
So that's why. That's why I brought
I
this
love
up
that idea. Yeah.
With Starlink, with T-Mobile, and now we're getting ready to potentially go. So I just don't understand why they tie their own hands behind their back when they do the antenna side of it and do it's almost like they're trying to create a problem that they can go and solve and become heroes. That kind of bothers me.
There's something in there about the transmission and reception, okay, that I don't understand on the antennas, because obviously you can't just build a bigger antenna, or they would. Okay,
Actually,
they would have solved
true.
this the easiest way possible.
So
you said they have to add more antennas.
Well, yeah, but they're all short. So we have these in
point.
studio. We have these. I have 3 wireless systems for video, right?
Okay.
And they all came with these itty dinky binky little antennas. I mean, literally not even 4 inches tall. And I'm like, this is crap. So being an engineer, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I started looking for 8-inch and 10-inch antennas. And I got more range out of those now since I went with a bigger antenna. You got to make sure they're rated for 5G, 6G, whatever your system is.
Sure.
It's all about and about line of sight. So, it made it easier for us to use these things for longer distances. But again, I don't know why they're not thinking about that when it comes to the internet side and the phone side. I mean, the phones, you can't put a bigger antenna in it because then we'd be going back to the old StarTAC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do that. It's like walkie-talkies.
Dude,
I think,
I love Nextels. Remember the Nextels?
Which ones?
The Sprint Nextels where you go, and you could talk like a walkie-talkie.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, those were awesome. You could.
I actually had the first Telego.
Oh, my God.
Telego? That was your home phone.
Yep.
That when you walked out the door became your cell phone.
Yeah. Oh my God, I haven't heard that name in years.
Awesome.
That's
that was a long time ago. Now we got 2 minutes left. Didn't you have something about customer service?
I have a video, and I know I'm going to make some people mad, but I really don't care because this is my show and this is our show. So we have this video. We've all had that one customer that just got us. So let's show this video real quick.
Hey, my man. Excuse me, hairnet. Yeah. Need a little of the quinoa salad, please, and throw a couple extra cranny bees on top if you could, and kind of need you to hurry up, Chief. Chop, chop. Next.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's funny, man. And you know you wanted to do it. You can't tell me you ain't. Just I'm not saying go and do it. I'm not telling anybody to go do that, but it's just
We're
like
not advocating violence on this program.
absolutely
But
not.
yes, there are definitely some clients. You and I have had them in the past.
I
Just
always
like
want
you're
to
like,
I want to end our
what?
shows on a laugh. You know what I'm
Why?
saying?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
And
that's great.
that is not a bad way to end it right there.
No, and we're gonna
Anyway, was that short?
that and so anyway, we're gonna start signing off here. So look, you can find us at the Tech Shamans on Facebook,
On Facebook.
Area 52 Media, Area 52 TV. Go in there and watch all of our pack episodes and now all the new episodes. And so Anthony there is a digital marketing shaman. And if you need to reach out to him for digital marketing help and AI help, he's good at that stuff. He can show you how to use it. He's not afraid of it. So you need to reach out. Nope, not afraid. Ain't scared. That's all I'm saying. So,
No, I appreciate that.
But if everybody needs help, he is. We're going to start doing our show again. We'll have some guests on. If you want to be a guest on, or you want to ask us to watch something or look at something, if it's any good, we'll do that for you. Hey, everybody, we'll see you next week on Tech Shamans.